You want healthy, glowing skin, but with all the products, trends, and conflicting advice, it's hard to know what actually works. I understand. I am Dr. Tiina Meder, a former cardiologist and specialist in the skincare development and cosmetic safety expert. I've spent years studying the science of skin. Welcome to Meder Beauty podcast, where we uncover what really matters, break down the science, and give you real expert-backed skincare advice. Whether you're looking to achieve radiant, healthy skin, curious about anti-aging, or want to understand what's really in your product, you are in the right place. Rooted in science and the truth about what your skin actually needs, we'll have in-depth conversations with leading dermatologists, medical experts, and skincare brand founders to bring you the latest innovations, evidence-based insights, and industry secrets that truly make a difference. We are so happy you are here. So let's go. Hello, all our dear listeners of our The Skin We Live In podcast. And today I am so excited to have an absolutely unique guest from the unique place, Dr. Natalya Borakowski from her clinic in Arizona. And I'm so happy that Natalya accepted my invitation and we found each other, because when we discussed for the first time, we discovered that we share a lot of professional values. And I really found your project, your clinic with this beautiful name, Desert Bloom, and your new exciting project, which I will be asking you a lot of questions about it. Absolutely amazing. So please welcome Natalya, and please tell a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to talk to more women about the beauty, the impact of beauty in our relationship with the self-image, because there's just so much more to our faces and skincare and self-care than that actually meets the eye. And I think more women all over the world talk about it, the more powerful our voices can become. So ultimately, we're here just to promote love, acceptance, and healthy complexions. A little about me. So I was an immigrant from Soviet Russia. I moved to US with my parents in the 90s, and I tried different type of job. My original degree was actually in music. So I studied music in Moscow since I was 5 years old. Yes. I played piano and I graduated with a master's degree in music education. But back then I had zero patience for teaching. So I gave my mother my diploma and I said, okay, that's it. It's completed. Now I want nothing to do with this. So I tried different jobs in US until accidentally I stumbled upon a makeup counter. Essentially what was happening, that my previous job, we got robbed at the gunpoint. So welcome to Wild West in the United States. Yes, it was crazy. Nobody got hurt. The man was just a little crazy. He got caught right away. But you can imagine me in my early 20s, I was going through such a panic attack, so like feeling very unsafe. And as any girl, the way we deal with stress, we deal with a shopping therapy. So I went to the mall, and there I saw Macy's department store was hiring for positions. So I walked in and I basically said, can I get a job? Like, I don't want to be in the bank anymore. This is too stressful. And when she asked me what I wanted to sell, I said, I don't know. I like shoes. Can I sell shoes? And she looked at me. She says, well, you're so pretty. Let's put you in cosmetics. And I kind of looked at her and I said, I don't even know how to put mascara on. Oh, don't worry, we'll teach you. So essentially, it's all just a serendipity that really drew me there. But that's really where I found my love. I realized that I never been a good artist. Like, I couldn't really draw, but I love drawing on people's faces. And then to see that light in a woman's eye when you give her a mirror and then she sees her face transformed. And I really fell in love with that feeling. So I was applying foundation and mascara on until I found that a lot of American girls since really young age struggle with acne. And I started asking questions. What do you do? How do you treat it? More questions I asked, then more questions I had. So I really felt like Americans don't know how to treat acne. I need to figure it out. I need to help the people. I don't understand why they can't fix this, because we never seen it in Russia. So I went to aesthetic school, so I became an esthetician. And as soon as I graduated, I made a decision that I really done working for everybody else. I want to have my own place. So I opened my little studio. Back then, it was just one tiny office. I named it Desert Bloom Skincare. And I was there by myself. Everybody laughed at me. And my back then boyfriend, now husband of almost 20 years, said, I don't really want to give you money because you're just going to blow it and you're not going to make anything. It's just a joke. It really fired me up. So I really wanted to prove everybody that I can have a successful clinic. I'm not going to fail. So I worked my butt off literally, and clinic grew. And I was still working on finding cure for acne. And to this day, many years later, I still don't have cure for acne. I do understand the disease a lot more. And then to me, I almost explain it almost like an autoimmune disease in a way, because body just becomes allergic to its own commensal bacteria. So then we don't really have an answers. We really have ways we can control acne. We can manage symptoms, but can we truly cure it? Really not. We don't really understand the deep underlying mechanism there, what's happening to the body, why the immune system becomes activated. So it's certainly very deep conversation, but essentially that's what drew me to a naturopathic medicine, because I did my pre-med studies in cell biology. And the reason I got into genetics, because I know it's one of your questions there, because again, I was trying to find underlying mechanism behind acne. So I read this study that showed people with Hispanic heritage more prone to acne. So that's really what triggered my interest and got me deeper into that science. But naturopathic school happened because I really got very unenamored with American way of dermatology and just conventional medicine, because essentially it felt like doctors did not really spend enough time with patients, and they were just prescribing drugs in the same way as we estheticians do skincare. So all you do, you're managing symptoms. You're not getting to the bottom of it. So aesthetic medicine really, to me, needed a deeper answers. It's needed to look beneath the skin. Because, you and I perfectly know skin is a reflection of your internal health. So that's where the naturopathic medicine came in, and that holistic approach to the body as whole. And it's not just body as a collection of organs and we're treating that all as the same system, but it's more to it, because to me, body is also our mental state. Body is our soul, right? It's our, not necessarily nervous system, but the way we perceive ourselves and the way we treat ourselves mentally. That's really where my study of this new project came in. And I started diving into psychology and anthropology and all these other studies to really trying to explain women why our face, it's not just a face. That's where the identity lives. And that's why everything we do in cosmetics has such a significant impact, not just superficially, but really deep into the soul of this woman. And it could be a positive or a negative impact depending who is the practitioner, is the one treating that woman.
That's true. And such an unusual way. I didn't expect it. That's the first time in my life I see someone who's been driven to the beauty industry by the gun, makeup, and the right time. That's such an unusual way. Just been growing naturally and organically to your doctor's position and to your higher education and starting from music. Did it help you?
Music, absolutely. I definitely have to say thank you to my patients and all my teachers. What it taught me is fantastic time management skills and discipline. Being able to take very complex projects, almost like that very complicated piece of music, and break it down into smaller tasks and accomplish it. So I think that's really what helped me to go through medical school as an adult, because when I got into medical school, I had young children. My son was still an infant. He was like just a little over 1 year old. My husband, fortunately, was so supportive. So he stayed at home with them. He was more of a mom back then to our kids than I was. And without him of just being the main caregiver, my dream would have never happened. But still, to being able, because I have so many women asking me this, like, how did you go through medical school? Because the commitment, the time and energy it takes, all the clinical shifts you have to do. Yes, I kept the Desert Bloom open through that time too. So I work, like I literally had no days off for 4 years when I was in medical school, because I worked weekends and stayed in clinic and did all my rotations and hours during the weekdays. And I just did it kind of in a similar way that I did piano back then when I was a child. So you're taking something very complex and you're breaking it up in small pieces. And you're thinking about, okay, what do I need to get done tomorrow? And you try not to look at this huge, big elephant of a task that's ahead of you because it's overwhelming. And all you do is just, okay, this is the next step. This is the next step. And then finally you arrive to where you want to be.
That's really the secret of the victory. Just
Yes.
day by day and step by step. And also, I have a lot of friends, musicians, and my children, they are very musical. They're both autistic and nonverbal, but they live by music. And what I found really interesting is a musician like nobody else understands the harmony. And all my musicians friends, they understand the idea of holistic medicine better than anyone else, because probably you see this inner harmony in people in the first place because it's inner music.
That's a fascinating observation. I can't say that I thought about it this way, but it's probably right. Yes. I mean, it certainly changes your brain when you study music as a child, because we know from like neuro state point, we know it connects your left and the right hemisphere. So your corpus callosum is a lot more activated because you're using your imaginary brain, the artistic brain, and then you're using the logic of the left hemisphere by just doing the mechanical movements and just repetitions. So yeah, it sort of changes you and you start seeing the world a little bit differently. And I'm sure that's made me a better human.
Yeah,
Music is
absolutely.
incredible. Yeah.
Because
There's a fascinating study I read recently. It says that when you listening to your music, and it doesn't have to be classic music, tend to be more impactful, but still, whatever music you listen to, if you truly enjoy the tune, your heartbeat will sync with it. So I'm like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I am reading a lot about music. I'm so interested in the subject. And one of the last books I read, it's Every Brain is Music. It's a neurophysiology work about the music appreciation by the human brain and how the brain creates music. And apparently the music was the very first conscious activity of the humanity. And they are finding flutes which can be probably million years old. So I, in the same time, in the skincare innovation and with an experience of something so ancient and so human and so holistic by its nature. But what is I find very interesting, even more interesting now, when I know more about your way to the aesthetic medicine, then you are an aesthetic doctors, you are an injectors. And it's so rare because most of my colleagues, and I know from thousands of people working in our industry and hundreds, if not thousands of doctors in the last 35 years, they're so rare when doctors who are practicing injections and lasers, and they are in holistic approach to the aesthetic medicine, because it's always a little bit controversial. We see more of beauticians and naturopathic doctors in the holistic way. And we see the big part of the aesthetic medicine community who are very allopathic and very probably not industrial, but they have different mindset. Starting because I'm writing about holistic and everything, and my friends from this part of the world, they take it like skeptically.
Just in the short answer, I wouldn't say that I have that much of a popularity among my colleagues of what I'm trying to teach. When I first started articulating my idea to my colleagues, to other doctors, and talking on conferences, like proposing, hey, I want to talk about this, instead of just talking about how to insert the threads and give the best possible augmented facelift, it fell on deaf ears. And that's why the project started to be more of reaching to average woman and helping her understand her body, her skin, understand what aging process both mentally and physically does to a woman, and how to just fall in love with your body all over again. And then just age, my key phrase that my marketers developed, age on your own terms. But I really feel that it starts with education to a woman, trying to give her medical information in kind of a story form, not to tell her what she needs to do, but give her tools to decide what she needs to do. So with my colleagues, I really honestly stopped going to a lot of aesthetic conferences because I really feel we mainly focused on skills. We always talk about how to perform the best procedure, how to deliver the safest procedure, which all of this is very important, but nobody raises the questions and has a conversation of emotional impact we injectors do to patients. And of course, the plastic surgery has even more so impact because there's a more of a dramatic change. And then there's some books been written before, and some of the brilliant plastic surgeons talk about this development of body dysmorphia, which is a little bit more of an extreme to what we can see in some aesthetic patients. But with every woman that I see, the middle-aged woman that comes to a clinic, they all come from that moment of self-doubt and disconnection from their own reflection. They always come in from that very negative point. I hate this. I'm ugly. I'm aging. I have so many wrinkles. My face is terrible. And that's what's so heartbreaking. And I think it will be wonderful to get more people to trying to understand that patient and meet her in the point of more of an empowerment and growth than constant correction. Because if we rely on aesthetic medicine, we always helping her to boost her confidence and her personality because we're doing the correction. That's when the addiction happens. And that's where the overtreatments happen. And that's why right now we have this whole shift in aesthetic medicine. Now we blame filler and Botox for overfilled and frozen faces. But we're forgetting that medicine just offers tools. The problem becomes it's when the culture of fear makes the decision how to treat the patient, not the medicine itself.
It's always
So
behind the person with the needle. It's not the
yes.
product itself, it jumped to someone.
Yes, it's not popular conversation because ultimately, especially in the United States, everything follows the money, right? Show me the money. So if we spending more time talking to a patient, trying to understand her, why is she doing this procedure today? It takes time out of the practitioner's day. So if it takes me 5 minutes to do Botox procedure and I make, I don't know, anywhere between $300 to $500 in 5 minutes, would I rather do that and then spend 30 minutes sitting there just talking to this woman, make sure she's on a good mental state? So a lot of times it does fall on deaf ears. And then I have my colleagues saying, well, I'm not psychologist. Maybe I'll just refer her to a therapist to deal with this. And then again, there's that disconnect because therapists would not be able to understand why she's struggling with what she's struggling with. So I'm attempting to close this gap by writing a book. Hopefully more women can hear it, can see it, can read it, become aware of it, and developing my online program too, again, which is trying to make it as accessible as possible. So just at least opening conversation. So hopefully then women will be the ones coming to doctors and asking questions. Why do I feel the way I do? Is it something happening with my hormones? Is it something happening because it's menopause? Let's look into it. Let's have this joint conversation. All I can do is just trigger the idea and see if the world follows.
I think that's the biggest deal to trigger an idea because there are a lot of people who can do some daily traditional work without thinking about it differently. And when you think differently, you change the world. And I think that especially our part of the world, aesthetic medicine world, should be changed. And it's such a smart observation. Then it is controversial when people say, and I refer people to psychologists because very often we are working on opposite poles because in aesthetic medicine, all kind of negativity about your appearance is largely accepted.
Yes.
You are unhappy about your facial pigmentation. Yes, you should be unhappy. If you're unhappy about these small wrinkles, absolutely. We're all unhappy about these wrinkles. But in psychology world, it's opposite because sometimes I feel a lot of psychologists, they think that women has no right to be unhappy about their appearance. They should be happy about everything. Like you have mustache, be proud, embrace it.
Yes. Yes,
You
yes.
have this huge melasma. What is wrong with you if you're unhappy about your pregnancy mask? You're not a real woman. And it is
Yes.
not right. Like,
Neither is right. Yes. Well, essentially, all of that, it's still answering the same problem. It's a fear and disconnect with your own reflection and with your own body. So, either way, the woman just follows two opposite extremes and not making the best decisions for herself.
no.
So, I really feel that's where the reconnection of your own relationship with the mirror, with your own reflection, understanding your body, why the melasma happens in the first place. And then instead of treating it as a flaw, you're going from the point, how can I support my body? And then the body answers. You know, our body is very responsive to both like an emotional connection with it and then also to good nutrition, sleep, lack of stress, all those beautiful foundations that often we overlook. And we throw pills and potions and lotions right away. But as for the beauty industry in general, you really absolutely nailed it when you said all our advertisements, every commercial you ever look at, either for cream or serum or injectable, it always comes from the two very powerful emotions. We either getting the foundation of fear, stirring a fear in the woman that if you do it, you're going to lose it, you're going to get worse. Or another very powerful emotion is shame. So we're making her ashamed of her pregnancy mask. You should correct this. So of course, those are very dark but very powerful emotions, and the woman follows it. It will be really wonderful to first make people aware of this, and then at the same time, hopefully shift our marketing, the beauty marketing, into the moment of support, empowerment, love, because really that's what skincare should be. It should be that beautiful daily ritual. So when you're opening up that cream, you're first smelling the scent. Are you enjoying this? What about that texture? Is it silky? Is it creamy? Do you like putting this on your face? You do a little mini self-massage. All it takes about 2 minutes a day, but you start doing those little mini connective rituals, you'll be amazed how much more powerful that cream will become for you. Not because it's a great cream, but because how you're applying it, how you're treating yourself with it.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more because I always saying for years, then you should apply the skincare not because you're afraid to age or to change or transform, only because you love yourself, you support yourself. Because skincare, it is a self-care and it is an essential part of our life. And then this you question why? When we discussed previously, you told me that you always ask why. And honestly, it's so rare in your industry because that's no why. That's mostly question like how much
Yes.
and when and where. And when you are discussing it with patients, how patients react to your question why? Are they open about it?
Yes, most are. And I have refused to treat patients when they come in just asking for a specific procedure. They will come in and say, I need, I don't know, let's say filler under my eyes. That's very often something that I refuse to do. And when I sit down and I ask questions, why? Like, how often have you done this treatment? Why do you want to repeat it today? What the outcome you're seeking? So instead of just pointing out in negativities, the shortcomings, the things that she needs to correct, I ask what bothers her, what continues triggering that chase for something. Because often I have young girls coming in and asking for correction when there's nothing to correct. And, you know, she's healthy, beautiful, just how she is, but she might just don't like something so minor about her as the size of her nose, the size of her lips. And you're trying to have this conversation and explaining it's beautiful the way you are. If you're trying to look like someone else, that's when you run into troubles. And most people will open up. Most people will say why happened and how did they experience this moment of all of a sudden realizing that the dark circles look horrible. It's usually always comes from that aha moment. Somebody took the picture of them, or they had a very bad camera angle on a Zoom meeting, and all of a sudden they saw their face in this terrible light. And often I always tell them the most beautiful people in the world, photo models, sometimes take really bad pictures. You know, when you see that glossy picture in a magazine, she probably took at least 4,000 pictures, and they chose one, Photoshop that, and then put that in the magazine. And you comparing yourself to this, that's just stupid.
It's so funny. It's a recent scandal at the Vanity Fair party after the Oscar, when all celebrities and stars, they've been so unhappy about their photos because of the unfortunate light, and someone literally cried on the red carpet after seeing their photos. So celebrities are people like us.
Absolutely. And then
making their photo better.
Yes, honestly, I do talk about this in my book briefly, just explaining women. It's the hardest thing for beautiful women to age, especially under a really bright celebrity light. Like we so eager to judge those celebrities. Oh, look at her. She looks great. She did this facelift. And then we'll turn around and an exact same sentence saying, oh my God, she's trying too hard. She's 60. She should be looking like more like blah, blah, blah. We just have no idea how difficult for that woman to even exist because she judged from every angle and every point. But she's human just as much as we all are. And then the fact that she is in this bright light of celebrity and the red carpet, it doesn't make her less vulnerable. And often it is the hardest thing for that woman to maintain a status of ageless face when in reality, none of us will ever have ageless face. Like you cannot override the biology. We are all oxidizing and aging. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yes, it's a lovely approach. And I hope that more people will understand it and will embrace it, because aging, it is a normal thing. We age, therefore we are. And we start to age not at 25. We start to age when we are embryos.
As soon as we take the first breath, yes.
Age-related changes, they are aging. But I never met 5 months pregnant woman who told me, I want to stay 5 months pregnant forever.
No.
We never met teenagers who want to stay 13 years old teenagers for all their life. But we see so many women in their 30s who want to stop this time. And probably we should enjoy it more. And you're doing it so greatly. And is cell biology background and genetics background helps you to understand and to explain it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I really love when patients asking me questions. Like right now, we have this whole big craze of peptides and NAD injections. And we as naturopathic physicians been working with peptides for many, many years. It just became popular now because of GLP-1 drugs. But when patients asking me those questions, I love telling them stories. I'm like, let's talk about what the mitochondria is. Like, where is it in your body? So if you are going to do this NAD magical injection to give you energy, but you are overweight, you don't exercise, you just sit on the couch or at the desk all day long, where is your mitochondria? Most of the mitochondria, besides your heart and liver, kidney, and the brain, then it's in your skeletal muscle. So that's majority of that mitochondria. So you're giving yourself an injection, boosting your mitochondria, but you just simply don't support the tissue that has most of the mitochondria. And I said, before you come here and get this NAD injection, let's get you on a treadmill. Let's get you with heavy dumbbells and you start doing squats. Let's build this gluteus medius, get you more energy. And then you tell me if you want an NAD injection. So when you're trying to understand the biology in a cartoony, simplistic way, I love seeing the woman's eyes light up and they're like, oh my God, nobody explained me this. And we talk about weight loss. And I said, I hate telling women to be on diets. Diets to me like associate with the word of die. Diets are temporary. All right. So today you're on a diet. You might be sticking to this diet, let's say for a month. You just go on a pure motivation. I'm going to eat salads every day. I'm going to do juice cleanse, whatever the idea you have in your head. Sooner or later, you'll get back into what you do normally because you don't understand your cell biology. You don't understand what your body needs. So then you go on purely cravings. So I'm craving pizza. I want a slice of cake. And instead of trying to explain them, what do your cells want? Is your body this beautiful collection of about 30 trillion cells? They want you to live forever. Every cell in your body will happily sacrifice itself for the sake of the rest of the community. And it's an incredible thing to realize that, right? Yeah. But then you think you have this beautiful brain. And then with that brain, you can make decisions by giving the cells food that they want, not you craving.
Also, it's a beautiful way to explain autophagy.
Exactly. So then you're trying to, again, like I love using this nerdy kind of elements, but explaining it from very human, easily understandable point of view. And I love seeing the woman's transformation, their relationship with food transform, their relationship with exercise transform. I don't even try to say word exercise anymore because I feel like most American women are allergic to the word exercise. So I just say instead movement. I said move with joy of whatever makes you happy for the day. Either you're dancing in the kitchen when you're making yourself coffee or you're going to yoga class. Don't tell somebody that what needs to be done. What do you want? And then once you get into that loving relationship with this beautiful community of cells, everything transforms. And then, yes, you start aging backwards because you get that internal light and drive within you, and nothing can take it away.
Yes, it's so true. And it should be not so easy to, let's say, transfer this message, because me personally, I found it difficult to eat healthy in the United States, because I lived for many years in France, and after we lived in London, and so all my life was in Europe, and I didn't expect it. I literally thought some people are exaggerating when they're speaking about the food problem in the US.
Yeah.
And it is a funny way, because I've been speaking in the bacteriophages conferences. I was the only speaker from the beauty industry, so I listened to everyone. And there have been a lot of speakers from the food industry. And it was such a dark image. They literally been saying then we should accept antibiotics and hormones. They are cocaine and heroines of our industry. We cannot get rid of them. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And when I arrived in States and we opened the office and I spent so much more time in Florida, and Florida is beautiful, but it is not easy to find really healthy food, which is absolutely normal in France. I never thought about it. I just went to the supermarket and I bought cheese and meat and whatever it is, and never been thinking about antibiotics in the bit.
Yeah.
How you manage this problem in States, how you educate your patients, because it's not only about what to eat. It's easy to say in France, eat salad, eat the meat. In States, you probably should say what kind of salad, what kind of meat.
Yes. What do I usually do? I don't really get into this whole deep conversations of trying to get organic, cage-free meats, grass-fed beef, all those things. It's okay. There's plenty of ecologists, the clean food activists, green chemistry activists, and there's so much information there. So I try to make it more simple and then just encourage people to eat plants. Because what I really see, and it sounds really silly and you're probably going to laugh, so many women tell me, I hate vegetables.
Really?
My next question is always, which ones? There's 100+ edible plants on this planet. And we are so blessed of living in the first world country in the world that basically has plants from all over the world. I said, go to the grocery store and go on a fun hunt and find something you've never seen before, and then figure out how to cook it.
Oh, I've seen so many new vegetables.
So many wonderful plants available to us. And when you go it from the moment of a kid in a candy store, that's maybe where my art education comes from. I always say, have 3 colors on your plate for everything, lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Beige and brown doesn't count. Yellow cheese is not color either. So you're just getting colors from plants. And once you're getting into this task, I'm going to have 3 colors, you'll be surprised how quickly your plate changes. So now you're making healthy choices, not because you're forcing yourself to eat salad, but you want this fun game. How do I put 3 colors on my plate? And then if you're just getting some iceberg lettuce, it's almost like a white in color. It doesn't really have that vivid green. You're not going to choose that, because if you're going after this deep green, you're going to go for spinach or arugula. That's much brighter green.
Like this.
Right, or kale, right? And well, kale you have to prepare a little bit, you have to massage it, and it's something simple, because Americans are lazy and a little simple. So you do want to have pre-washed, ready arugula or kale, so then you throw that in. And then you can cut a couple different colors of bell pepper into it, and you just do your own half-made lemon olive juice dressing, and there you go. There's your salad.
Oh, that's such a great advice, especially because all vegetable pigments, they are natural, powerful antioxidant.
Exactly. I love that color of vitality idea, right? So, like even before you start explaining, you just say, I always said the most powerful color in nature is purple because that's where anthocyanins come from. And I say, go to the store and find something new purple. We have so many cool purple stuff. Like, we have this Japanese sweet potato, the purple potato.
Yeah.
We have all berries possible available all year round. But even things like we have purple cauliflower, we have purple Brussels sprouts. If you really start thinking about it, like you can find those vegetables you never knew that existed. A few years ago, I found purple asparagus. I didn't even know it existed before.
Yeah,
It was actually,
it's your own.
yeah, it
I
was
love
delicious. It's kind of rare, but if you start doing this little fun hunt, like, oh, let's see what the purple I can
think
do.
it's such a great advice to stop being functional about your food, because what I see in States, a lot of aesthetic patients, they are proud to become functional. Like food, it is an energy. So I eat enough of proteins. Please don't call your food proteins. Proteins, it's a scientific word, it is a terminology, leave it for the laboratory. They're not proteins, it's a good quality meat or fish or
Yeah.
mushroom or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I just, when people starting to speak about their food like collection of carbohydrates, I eat proteins, I eat less of carbs. I'm like, oh my God, it's so not French. And look at French people, they're doing well.
Oh, absolutely. Look at the Italians. They eat pizza every day and pasta, and then they are so healthy, and many of them live 100+ years. So the idea is not the food, and the idea is our relationship with food. If we have that reductionistic relationship, like you said, people on a strict diet, I'm going to have this protein, I'm not going to have this protein, or I'm going to optimize my low carbohydrate diet. You're constantly limiting yourself. You're getting to the point you fear food. And food is joy. It's one of the biggest joys we have in life. Food is celebration. You need first allow yourself to enjoy food. That's another thing drives me nuts about Americans, how fast they eat. My husband, like often we sit down for our family dinners and he will swallow his food in 10 seconds. And I look at him like, did you even chew? I'm sitting here just casually eating and then talking to my children, putting the food down, your fork down, you taking breaks. Because when you do take time, your body also gives you signals. Am I full? Am I done? Do I need more? And when you swallow it like a one pump, you don't even know what the heck you just did. Your body haven't caught up with you yet.
I think it's really great to be more open-minded to different culture, because, for example, we've been speaking because you did this amazing training in Georgia, not state, but the country.
Yes.
And you go to the conference there, and I've been thinking about organize some dinner, and I love Georgian food. So I found Georgian restaurant, and they've been like, dinner, prepare for 4.5 hours.
Exactly.
I know it would be amazing, but it is the slow life culture.
Yeah,
You will not eat 4.5 hours without stopping. You will not eat like megaton of the food.
Yes.
It's great food, not too much. It will be wine. It will be fun. It will be memorable.
Yes.
And it's just a different mindset. And I think that's so amazing how you just create some way to introduce it to the aesthetic medicine, because unfortunately, aesthetic medicine is more about quick fixes sometimes. Let's fix your wrinkle. Let's fix your dark spot. Let's do this laser resurfacing now in here.
Yeah.
And when we discussed with Dr. Brandon Kong from London, that's what I love about Dr. Brandon. Then he is not about quick fixes himself. And so it's so amazing to see how different practitioners from different parts of the world, they find a way. What is a red flag for you, for example, with patients? When you see them, it cannot be done. And what is green light? When you see them, you could do it.
Yes, with my patients is, of course, trying to see what are the expectations. The biggest red flag is when they ask about specific procedure. They haven't done anything for their skin. They may be not even doing sunscreen regularly, and they just want one very aggressive procedure, fix everything. I don't want to do it. It's almost like that plastic surgery approach. Sometimes I have patients who do things like, I'm just going to do a facelift. I'm not going to really spend money on skincare.
Oh, I heard 1,000
And then,
times.
Of course. So that's a biggest red flag. That's a misunderstanding when people continue treating, people and practitioners alike, continue treating skin as a cosmetic surface. And you trying to open up conversation and saying, this is a living organ. You should be respectful of it. You can't really throw a grenade at it and thinking it's going to respond well. And then you just need to make sure you give it the good nutrition, both topically with the good cosmetics, and then internally, as we just talked about diet.
Yeah, it's so great because the skin is only organ you can see. Sometimes I think if we can see kidneys,
Yes.
apparently someone will come to me showing these two kidneys and asking to do something about the left kidney because it's not beautiful. Fortunately, it's hidden inside the body, but you can see skin. So we have a lot of questions about how skin should look, but we should ask probably how skin functions in the first place.
Here's the thing about kidneys too. Sorry to interrupt you since you're bringing this up. There's changes in the skin. They can show you this kidney is something off with kidney. And so is the liver. And so is the heart. All those little shifts, the skin gives clues. So instead of just looking at every things that we want to correct, ask, what is my body communicating to me? Why all of a sudden I have that dark circles? Why all of a sudden my eyes are puffy? Why all of a sudden my skin is looking dull? That's the clue to your internal world. And that's when women should pause and instead of correct, have that conversation and have that moment, oh, my body's asking for support.
It's really, and the aesthetic doctors, they are in the first line to flag these questions because, okay, patients, they can come from another world. They can be musicians. They can be mathematics teachers or physicists. They can know nothing about the body functions. Heart is at right and the liver is too. That's it. We have two legs and two arms. But in the same time, when people are coming to the aesthetic doctor, it's so great to have this amazing support when doctors see behind the wrinkles deeper than skin and could explain this interconnectedness of the skin. And how you implement in your daily work. What is your typical week in your Desert Bloom clinic?
We open 6 days a week, so I do see patients regularly. Often I'll start mornings with blood draws. That's when we're looking at their internal world and trying to figure out, are we dealing with hormonal imbalance? We're dealing with some kind of detoxification problems. And then I'm just going between treatment rooms, like sometimes doing laser procedures, sometimes it's just aesthetic treatment. Most of my patients, I've known them for many years, so we age together, so we have a really deep connections. And sometimes it almost feels like a visiting with a friend because I see them a couple times a year and just like catching up, how the kid's doing. And then we continue just talking about their health. How can I support her glow? What also can we add? What other conversations, questions she has? You know, a lot of patients sometimes will reach out to me just getting my feedback. Oh, have you heard about this new device? Have you seen this? Is this worth it? Because we're all bombarded by this shiny, new, coolest tricks, you know, like the new skin tightening thing, a new serum that's going to stop the hair loss and it's going to stop this. And it's great to have patients that trust me and they value my opinion. And I'm not trying to say I know everything. Sometimes I do get sold on the new shiny new thing, but trying to be realistic and trying to always under promise and over deliver. So that's something I always keep close to my heart. And I definitely
that's the way to success.
Yeah.
Under promise and over deliver, that's true. And what are the most popular procedures in Desert Bloom Clinic?
You know, honestly, it does vary from month to month. Like right now, we have an actually really warm winter. It's been over 100 degrees in Fahrenheit in March, which is crazy. It's been really hot. But usually this season right now is laser season. That's when people come in and we do like photofacial treatments, and CO2 laser is really popular. Sometimes we have a lot of like back-to-back. I do a lot of thread procedures. Like one of my most favorite procedures to do is non-surgical rhinoplasty, because even like changing the nose by 2 millimeters can make such a huge impact on that woman's appearance. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. And this week I was fortunate enough to have 2 non-surgical rhinoplasties back to back, which makes a great week. I love it. I love it. I love the impact of it. I love how like women just get so it changes their
It's just an
personality.
instant results. You can see results.
It is.
everywhere. It's so
Yeah.
gratifying.
Yeah.
And how is different to work in Scottsdale, Arizona? It feels like such a special place. I always wanted to visit because I'm the swimmer and I know Michael Phelps lives there. I think it should be different from Florida and New York and California and Chicago.
Honestly, Scottsdale does have its little charm because it used to be very quiet, very relaxed, kind of resort-like city, but it's getting very big and very busy. It's definitely overgrown, and we have a lot of Beverly Hills influence now because we've had so many celebrities move here, and so the plastic surgery followed. So right now, Scottsdale is actually probably one of the most dense areas for medical spas. So we have injectors literally on every corner right now. And it's a little bit glamorized compared to the other Phoenix Valley. And I would say people from other parts of Phoenix Valley kind of look at Scottsdale as a snobsville. And we have a lot of very overdone plasticky women, that kind of a look, like everybody look alike with huge lips, long blonde hair, and huge lashes. Not something that I support in my patients. So that's why I, as a Scottsdale practitioner, do stand out being a little weird. And I do turn people away when they ask for those exaggerated looks. And I say, well, okay, I'm sure there's a provider right around the corner who can deliver you the look you want. It's just not what I do. So Scottsdale is really not what you envision to be anymore, unfortunately.
And it's even before I visited. And apparently I call it Scottsdale, not a Scottsdale.
Yes.
Oh my God, sorry for this mistake.
No, that's all right.
One day I will visit. And it feels like a special place, but also the climate conditions are harsh.
Very harsh.
The air
Very
is
harsh.
dry, the climate is
Yes.
continental.
Yes.
So your patients need some special care. And
Yes. Lots of hydration. Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
it should impact their whole skin health because it's not so easy to live in the desert.
No,
What
it's
is
not.
the humidity level in Scottsdale?
It could be as low as 11%.
11%. Oh my God, you will dry off
Absolutely.
like a turtle. Oh,
I know.
in Florida, it's like 80.
I know. Yes, I know. It's terrible. And then the temperature in the summer could be as high as like 40 something degrees Celsius, like 42 Celsius. It's crazy.
It's
It gets really,
110 in Fahrenheit, right?
yeah.
Oh my God. It's killing, and you look so great, and I'm sure that your patients, they look amazing despite all this harsh condition. It's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like a space station.
Yes, you have
Like
to adapt. You have to have humidifiers. Then yes, it's
Sunscreen, it's non-negotiable.
Oh, 100%.
You shouldn't go out without a sunscreen.
No.
I always
Even if you're in the car, yeah.
I always thinking about the sunscreen is because I don't like this concept like 24/7, 365 for everyone, because I'm Estonian. We don't have a sun here. Still not here because we have a polar night. We don't have the ultraviolet in the atmosphere since the mid-October until the mid-March, sometimes end of March. So we are really hungry for this small rays of ultraviolet just to produce a little bit of vitamin D, please.
Yes.
But it's so different in Arizona because in Scottsdale, it's absolutely, you should religiously apply sunscreen and it should be 50 plus and it should be 365 days a year. And what are your favorite sunscreens, by the way?
I lately been using this product from a company called Hydropeptide because they add peptides to everything. So yeah, my favorite is the Solar Dew. So it's like a really sheer peptide-based skincare, and it gives you this like really sheen finish. And where our skin has a little bit more sheen, and then the wrinkles don't look so bad. So that's kind of like the reason I love it.
Blurring a little bit.
Yes,
it's great advice. I hope all of our listeners, they are now writing the name of the product. We'll put it in the description because the sunscreen formula is the most difficult to create. I'm working on my sunscreen for Meder for 14 years. Now I'm still not there because my bar is high. And when you have this amazing product on the market, like hydropeptide sunscreen, I don't see the point to launch something mediocre. It should be great. It should be aligned with the range. But advice of sunscreen from the aesthetic doctors working in Scottsdale, Arizona, it's priceless. You should follow it. and how to get a consultation, how to contact you for the consultation.
The best place to really find all my advice and ideas of everything we were talking about, the beauty and the philosophy, is on Unveil You website. So it's unveilyou.life. Once you get in our newsletter, then you will get everything that we are working on currently, specifically my book, which hopefully will be released this summer, which is working on the editing stage right now. And once the book is available, it will be available here on Amazon. I'm not sure how we're going to be distributing it worldwide yet, but I do have plans of translating it to at least Russian, because I have a lot of Russian customers and not many of them speak English fluently. But go to unveilyu.life, and there's also links to my podcast there. And I always bring esthetician guests, and I'm going to bring Tiina next time on my podcast so we can have more conversation about bacteria part, because that's interesting conversation there. You can also follow me on social media. I have 3 different accounts. Natalya Borakowski is my main account, and that one is the most popular. And you can see what I'm up to, what conference I'm traveling to next year and then this year. The other one is unveilu.life, and that's where we have the posts, kind of inspirational, helping women to reconnect with their self-image, the beauty, changing beauty messaging overall. And then the last account is a Dazzle Bloom skincare account, and you can see what we're doing in clinic.
Oh, that's amazing. So whole information, we will put it in the description, and I hope new patients will find you by this information. And it would be great because so many people, they're challenged by these aesthetic changes. And you are someone who can give them this lifeline of positive changes. Thank you for joining us today on the Meder Beauty podcast. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expert skincare tip. Have a question or topic you'd like for me to cover? Send me a message at podcast@mederbeauty.com, and let's keep the conversation going. Also, you can visit mederbeauty.com and discover Meder Skincare, which I created. And if you enjoyed the show, I'd love if you left a review. It helps others find the podcast and keeps us growing. Until next time, stay healthy, stay glowing, and take care of your skin.